Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to the Murderous Minds True Crime channel. I wanted to talk to you about two things today, just to touch up on something with Kiely Rodni's case, and then I also want to talk to you about the Madeline Soto case. So I'm going to start off with Kiely first, and I just wanted to, I'd noticed, well, I'm sure we all have, with the timeline, there's a lot of things that happen at 3 or 33, 36, 30 minutes past the hours. And, you know, they say things happen in threes, but really how unfortunate can one community or town be? Either their clocks only tell the time in multiples of 3, they can only remember in threes, or it really is just an unfortunate number for them, because almost every time that we've been given for different events have been during those times. So, you know, we've got like 10:30 was the last correspondence between Jagger and Kiely, where they shared their last text messages to each other. You know, she'd said that Kiely had said to Jagger, "Oh, I'm sorry you're going through that," and he told Kiely not to do anything stupid. You know, we're not being told the entire conversations that they'd had during that evening or that day, but clearly there obviously was more said in between those messages for Jagger to have advised Kiely not to do anything stupid. And obviously at some point he must have been confiding in Kiely about something that he was going through, but we don't know what. At 11:30 p.m. was when Kiely had allegedly texted her mum to inform her that she'd be leaving the party in around 45 minutes, which is 3/4 of an hour after sending the text. As we know, Kiely never arrived home. 3 minutes past 12 is when Kiely's phone stopped sharing its location. 15 minutes past 12 was when Kiely was due to arrive home from the party, which was, you know, 3/4 of an hour after sending the message to her mum. 12:30 is when Kiely was reportedly last seen. There was actually a few things that are said to have happened at 12:30, because Kiely was reportedly last seen at 12:30. There were 2 boys up to fighting or close to fighting near the Y intersection, and they blocked it off. One of them climbs on top of a car while the other gets inside and starts blasting music through a subwoofer or something. There was the mass exodus, leaving the sanctuary, I think. And then at 12:33 a.m. is when Kiely's phone was turned off with a hard shutdown. Sorry about that. My dog tends to whinge when he's not getting the attention from me. Yeah, so I mean, it could be nothing, and these could very well be legitimate times that these events have occurred. But I just found it all to be a bit strange and suspicious, and I wanted to know what your thoughts were. So I also wanted to talk about the Madeline Soto case. I know that people have been talking about that for a bit now. So I just wanted to touch on it a bit. Here are my thoughts and opinions so far, and hopefully as well I will be giving more information about this case as time goes on. So Madeline Soto, she was a 13-year-old girl from Kissimmee in Florida. She lived in a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom condo with her mum, Jennifer Soto, and Jen's on-off boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. He's described by Jen as being Maddie's stepfather, despite the fact that the couple were not married, and I don't think they were engaged either. Madeline went missing on Monday the 1st of March this year, which was just several days after turning 13. On the 26th of February, And it was also the morning after she'd had her birthday party, which was celebrated at her maternal grandmother's home on Sunday, the 29th of February. Madeline's mother, she was unable to attend their birthday party because she had to work. However, Stefan was in attendance, and reportedly, apparently, there was only 2 of Madeline's friends there. There were other relatives, I'm sure, but I think there was only 2 of Madeline's friends that attended the party. Jen had said that the reason for Maddie's birthday party being held at a later date was so that people who had got work commitments and other things would be able to make it, yet she herself didn't book the time off of work to see her daughter's 13th birthday party. It's a big thing. You know, she just became a teenager. I'm pretty sure she could have gotten the time off, or if she's going to change the date of the party for a later date due to other people's work commitments, at least make sure that she can too be there. Yeah, I find that a bit odd, especially when I've seen like a few different articles now and a few different contents where some people are saying that even though Jen did work, I think she worked for Disney as well, but at this restaurant there, she'd started to work. I don't know, I haven't managed to confirm this yet because I've seen like different articles saying different things, but apparently it has been said that Jen had started working from home online for this restaurant, doing like the bookings and things. But as I said, I don't know how true that is. If I do manage to confirm it one way or another, I will let you know. But I just think either way, she should have been there. If she's going to change the date of the party, make sure it's for a date that you, her mum, can be there. Anyway, Maddie attended the Hunters Creek Middle School, which was on Town Loop Boulevard, Orlando, Florida. Jen and Stefan both claimed that Stefan dropped Maddie off. Well, actually, in the beginning, I think Jen was saying we dropped her off. And then later on in her interview, she changed it and says, oh, it was my partner who dropped her off. I didn't drop her off. But Stefan dropped Maddie off for school that morning, on the morning of the 1st of March at around 8 a.m. He said that he dropped her off near a church or at the church grounds, about half a mile or a quarter of a mile walk from the school, which left Maddie to walk the rest of the way to school, as she was too embarrassed apparently to be seen being dropped off outside the school in his car. However, Maddie didn't make it to school that morning. Stefan was seen on surveillance footage dumping Maddie's school backpack and her school-issued laptop into the dumpsters outside of the condo where they lived, and that was around 7:35, I believe, that morning. He was also seen on surveillance arriving back at the home around 8:30 a.m. with Maddie clearly visible in the front passenger seat of the car. Law enforcement reported, though, that unfortunately they do believe that poor Maddie was already passed at that time, after her life had been taken from her during the early hours of the morning. So this sicko, he was driving around with poor Maddie, a trigger warning, sorry, but he must have had her propped up in his car. He told media, this is horrible, he told the media that Maddie had been asleep during the ride to school. During their media interviews, Jen used the word we multiple times when talking of Maddie being dropped off for school, despite the fact that, as I've said, eventually she did change it to say that she didn't drop her off and that it had been her partner, Stefan. She'd also claimed during one of her interviews that she last saw Maddie. She gave two versions of events, like for when she'd last seen Maddie. One of them was that she'd seen her, the last time she saw her was around 8 a.m. that morning while Maddie was getting ready for school. and describes what she was wearing. I think it was a green hoodie, some dark wash jeans. And then another version she gave was that she'd last seen Maddie the previous night, when she'd arrived home from the party before going to bed, and that Maddie was really happy. She'd enjoyed her birthday party and she was really happy with all of her gifts. Obviously, we now know that Jen did not see Maddie getting ready for school that morning. So why was she lying? You know, why would any innocent mother make up such a lie? And why would she lie about the last time she saw her daughter? Surely you'd want to give out the most accurate information you can to try and get your daughter found. So it makes me ask, what and how much did Jen really know about what happened to Maddie? And what or who was she covering for? According to Jen, she didn't realise Maddie was missing until she went to collect her from school around 4 p.m. That's when she was informed by the school that Maddie hadn't attended school that day, stating that she then stated that she reported Maddie missing around 4:30 p.m, although law enforcement have stated it was actually around 8 p.m. So there's like 4 hours where she didn't report her child missing. Why did it take her so long to report Maddie missing? Surely, as soon as the school says to you, your daughter didn't come to school, you'd be like, oh my, like you'd be panic stricken, you'd be phoning around everywhere, and you would definitely phone law enforcement and report your child missing. You would not leave it 4 hours. To me, that's so they can get their story straight or hide whatever they need to hide. I think that was to cover their own backsides, really. Jen was also able to briefly describe, allegedly, as I've said, what Madeline was wearing that morning. And Jen said that she'd been told that the church where Stephen had apparently dropped Madeline off that morning, I think it was the Peace something Methodist Church. I forget now, I've got it written down somewhere, but I've got that many notes. She said that basically Maddie had been dropped off by this church, and that there was some CCTV footage that possibly showed Maddie at the church grounds, that she was sat there for a little while before getting up and walking away in the direction of the school. Apparently, this footage was quite grainy, so she couldn't be sure that it was Maddie, but based on what the young girl in the footage was wearing, she believed it to be Maddie. She said that she got up, walked away in the direction of the school, had her backpack with her, and was seen looking to be getting something out of her bag, which Jen assumed to be Maddie's earphones to connect to her cell phone. However, given that Stearns was seen dumping Maddie's backpack and her school-issued laptop into the condo dumpsters that morning, and Maddie, by Jen's own account, had forgotten to take her phone to school that morning due to her ADHD, Maddie would not have had her backpack or her phone with her. So there'd be no reason to be looking for earphones, and she certainly wouldn't have been going through a backpack, would she? But I'm wondering if, that we now know there's no way Jen saw Maddie getting ready for school that morning, but she was able to give a description of what Maddie was apparently wearing, which also happened to be very similar or match to what the girl we've seen in the church, the girl that they apparently saw in the church footage was wearing. Did Jen hear of the footage before speaking to the media and then just try and go along with that's what she was wearing? Or, because as we know, she's not a very tall woman, she's quite dinky. Did she dress in those clothes and pretend that's what Maddie was wearing? Or, with recent accounts that have come out now, that the 911 calls have been released, and the aunt, I believe it is, describes what she herself is wearing for when the a dispatcher sent somebody out, and she says that she's wearing a dark green cardigan, a white blouse or shirt, and dark stonewashed trousers. Could it have been her that was in this footage? I, you know, could all of this have been done to fake proof of life? Or is the whole church footage thing just complete fabrication in itself? Was there ever any real church footage? Because as far as I'm aware, it's not been released. And Jen was very quick to say, oh, but it was very grainy. She kept saying how it was very grainy footage, so they couldn't be sure. You know, we nor the media, even Jen herself actually said that she had not seen this footage. So how can anybody really be sure that it even exists? What do you think? Both Jen and Stearns have both proved themselves to be liars, amongst other things. And I know we've all heard or read about the horrendous abuse that this poor sweet young girl suffered since at least the age of 8 years. I wouldn't trust anything that either of them say, to be honest. Thankfully, though, that monster is now behind bars and he can no longer hurt anyone. But was it just him? Did anybody else know what was going on? Did anybody else know what he was doing to Maddie? Perhaps somebody else like Jen, maybe? I don't see how she could not have known, in all honesty. It's her daughter. You know, did Mom know? How much did she know if she did? Was she complicit? And if so, just how involved was she? Was she complicit in the abuse, in the unaliving, or was she complicit in both? Is that why she's covered for and lied for Stearns? Is that why she was even consoling him and comforting him? It's just sick. He's a sick, evil, sick, horrible, vile. I don't even want to call him a man. I genuinely believe she was involved as much as him. But just because I believe something, that doesn't make it true. And yeah, I suppose she may have been completely unaware of everything, or she could have just been too scared to stand up to him and protect her daughter. But in my opinion, she knew. I really don't see how she couldn't. And as for lying about seeing Maddie the morning she went missing, all I can see are great big giant red flags that scream guilt. But that's just my opinion, of course. So I am going to continue, of course, to do lots of research on both Kiely's and Maddie's cases, and I will keep you all updated as best I can, and I'll catch up with you all soon. Until next time, please remember to be kind to each other, and please take care of yourselves. I love you all. Bye.